In this video, I'm going to show you my less than 5-minute foam roller routine to instantly improve your posture. If you are looking for an easy, effective, and time-efficient way to reduce your postural pain and tension, then you've come to the right place. Now, before we get into the routine, here are a few very important concepts. There are 3 important concepts I'd like to quickly share with you, but if you don't care, you can always skip ahead. First one, it says this is best posture. So what is this? Your best posture is actually your next posture. So what does that mean? It means move more often. It means that even if you have the best posture in the world, sitting for a long period of time or staying in a static position, like standing for a long period of time, will eventually catch up to you. We are moving creatures. We are meant to move. So moving frequently, more often, moving well is important for us. It's like lubing up the joints. So always think your next posture is your best posture. So always integrating more movement in general into your day is a good thing for your posture. So we got that one checked off here. Next one is postural tension. Postural tension equals structural adaptation. So what does that mean is that if you don't use it, you lose it in a way, and the positions or habits that or behaviors that you establish will eventually show in the form of your posture, the way you look. So what I mean is, if you look at someone, say like even my posture now versus like an older person, not to pick on old people, but you know, they get more and more sedentary as time goes on, don't move as much, they start to adapt to a lot of those positions that they're in all day long. So these poor postures are not ideal postures of a slouchy position. If we're doing that all day, every day, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, our body literally adapts to that. And then if you don't get out of that position, you adapt and you lose that ability. So yes, if you are, say, very tight in this position, we can use this foam roller routine to open you up, but only to open you up within your structural means. So we can only fully access what you have available. If you have structurally adapted to positions like this, we can only get so much out of it. And then as a result, your body, your brain has to move your muscles around that structural adaptation. So the best thing to do is maintain what you have as much as possible with a stupid, simple, time-efficient routine, which I'm going to share with you. Okay, so we have postural tension equals structural adaptation. Lastly is postural hygiene, and that's the most important part about why we can make this so simple and easy, because to prevent that structural adaptation, if we have a good postural hygiene strategy, then we can prevent that structural adaptation from happening in the first place. So what is structural or postural hygiene? We have dental hygiene, right? As far as I know, you probably brush and floss, or at least brush your teeth twice a day for dental hygiene. You visit a dentist once every 6 months or so for cleanings. But we don't bat an eye at brushing our teeth every day. But what do we do for postural hygiene? Do you have a postural hygiene brushing and flossing you do for your spine or your body every day? Probably not, and you definitely don't if you're watching this video, and that's exactly what I'm going to show you. This routine is essentially a brushing and flossing routine for your spine to keep the cavities away, which is that structural adaptation or that dreaded postural hump, neck hump, buffalo hump, whatever you want to call it. So here's the routine. Obviously, it's called 5-minute foam roller routine, so you need a foam roller. So go ahead and grab yourself one. Doesn't matter what kind it is. Just, you need one. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna take this foam roller here and place it behind my back. So most of this routine is gonna be done in this seated or recumbent position. And so we're gonna start actually in our lower spine. So not the low back where the belt line is, but it's basically like where the end of your lower ribs are here. We should be on that spot there. Okay, so what we're gonna do, it doesn't be exact. So we're gonna sit in this position, and typically it's like a position of like a sit-up. But so you can see me, I'm gonna remove this arm here. So what we're gonna do is incrementally move up the spine and down the spine. So in your thoracic spine or mid-back, you have lots of ribs, lots of vertebra or joints in there, and we want to incrementally get each piece. And so you can't isolate one bone. Each bone has a joint above and below, so it's always in triplets. But either way, if you move up just a little bit of time, we'll hit those different segments and make sure we're mobilizing the whole thing. Okay, so we're gonna start at this spot here, and very simply what we're gonna do is we're gonna lift the elbows up and back. But a key point here is that if you just willy-nilly do this, what typically happens is your rib cage comes up and I'm just arching my low back and I'm sort of teeter-tottering over the foam roller as opposed to using the foam roller as a pivot point or a fulcrum. So it's really important to think about, if you see my ribs here, keep those ribs down, or if that doesn't work, think about flattening your belt line or low back to the ground. And you want to keep it stuck there so that when you lift up and back, you're actually hinging into the spine, right? You can see my ribs are down here as opposed to flaring out like this. Okay, so now that I have that concept of keeping the ribs down and I go back, I'm going to sink into it and breathe out and return. I'm going to get a couple reps in there. Usually like 3 is pretty good. And I'm just going to slide my butt down just a little bit. So by sliding the butt down, the foam roller goes up the back. Same thing, I'm going to repeat, do about 3 of these. And a note is that if you have any pain at all, you probably need this because this should be pain-free. It should just be stiff at end range, but if it is painful, just touch the pain and come back. Do not force it. There's always a Goldilocks zone of not too much, not too little, just right, and that's kiss the pain or touch the pain. Now that I got 3 there, I'm gonna move down a little further. And I'm gonna go again. I'm gonna go here, and I'm hitting at the lower shoulder blade right now. I'm getting 3 of these. Good, I'm gonna slide down. Now I'm between the shoulder blades. And here, I'm gonna get to a point where my head starts hitting the foam roller. Once you get there, we're getting a little too low. So make sure you get that point where you're high on as high as possible on your spine, but your head is not hitting the foam roller. Once we get here, we're gonna start getting the neck involved. So what we're gonna do is tuck the chin in like this. So make sure you're supporting your head because there's gonna be a lot of strain on your neck. So I'm gonna tuck the chin in like this, and then I'm gonna lift the elbows up like what I've been doing. And then I'm finally gonna drop my head and let it hang here. Good, and if it feels okay, breathe out. And then a little wiggle from side to side like you're saying, All right, so with both hands it looks like this. Chin tuck, lift the elbows up, and then I drop the head. See my fingers here? Wiggle, 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 breathe out, and return. So you can see it from another angle. Here's this way. Tuck the chin in, lift the elbows up, drop my head back, let the fingertips go. A little wiggle from side to side, breathe out, see what I'm doing here? And then use your hands to help bring your head up. That way you're not overstraining your neck repetitively, okay? So once you're at that top part there, then we can move our way back down. So it's the same thing. We hit the top, we did our reps, we're gonna move down, do 3 reps, move down, do 3 reps, move down, 3 reps, back to the starting position, which is that lower rib cage area. Okay, cool. Now, if you have, say you have some pain or tension on one side versus the other, we can get a little bit of extra motion in that side by turning or tilting to that side, because now we can get the ribs or rib heads involved. So how we do that is, I'll show you here first. I'm gonna go and get my left side, or actually I'll get my right side and turn towards you. So what you do is the same thing we did before. You find a spot and then you extend or go backward. And then I like to go about halfway and then add a little bit of rotation. So I'm gonna turn my body to the right here, make maybe a little less than 45 degrees. And I'm gonna go there and then go back a little further, and you'll feel a little extra pressure on that right side. Okay, and so on the other way, to the left, it looks like this. We're gonna extend about halfway, tilt left, and then go back a little further. Now, could you go all the way back and then just turn left and right? Sure, you can try that. Could you turn to the right first, or one side, and then go all the way back? You can, but they create different feelings or experiences, and in my experience, I found that going back halfway, then turning, and then the rest of the way has been the most comfortable for people to get that nice release and movement there without being too sensitive. All right, now that we've loosened up the spine there, and don't be surprised if you get some snap, crackles, and pops, we got the spinal mechanics down, but now we also have muscles attached to us, and there's a couple important muscles that tend to get tight, develop a lot of muscle tension, whether it's chicken or the egg. And that's gonna be your lats and then your glutes, or piriformis or piriformi specifically. So first we're gonna start with the lats here. The lats are basically a muscle from your armpit all the way actually down into your back, but it's kind of this muscle in your, it's the back part of your armpit. And so a lot of times when we sit and rounded forward like this, that lat there pulls it forward and it shortens, it gets tight. It associates with those extended, prolonged postural positions, so loosening that up can help as well to open us up. So how to get that here is very simple. We're gonna lie on the foam roller here, place it on the foam roller, go up into the top of the armpit, and you can do anything you want with your arm here, but you're just gonna roll into that meaty muscle, the back side of your armpit. So you're not literally on your armpit, you're rolling back onto that meaty flank or side of the armpit, side of the shoulder blade. So I'm just gonna roll through here and take your time with this and use some support of your leg and hand because it can get super sensitive, and roll down a little bit. And it's pretty simple with this. It's seek and destroy. So I'm gonna, roll through here and find some naughty by nature in there. Some landmines or pebbles or rocks. Gosh, it's gonna be pretty gnarly for most people in there. So if rolling through it's too much, find a spot and then just kind of sit on it and hold there and breathe for 90 seconds. That pressure is called ischemic compression that can help release or relax some tight muscles or tissues. So find a couple spots, hang out 90 seconds and do that, and then we can switch to the other side. And we'll show you actually from this side what it looks like. Is all I'm doing is I'm getting this right through here. So I'm just lying on my side here and I'm literally just rolling through here, and I can add a little bit of turning forward or turning backward. I'll see here, I'm getting this right here, placing it on the foam roller. I can roll straight through it. I can rotate forward a little bit and get the front part of it. I can rotate back a little bit and roll through the back side of this. Okay, now that's the upper body. For the lower body, it's the hips. Hips don't lie, says Shakira. So we're gonna roll those suckers out. So from a lot of, I'm gonna change my position so I don't flash you, is from a lot of sitting, these muscles here tend to get short and tight. So we can loosen those suckers up with our postural routine by using our trusty foam roller. We're gonna sit on it. So I'm gonna take my right glute, sit on the foam roller here, and I'm gonna take that right leg, cross it over the left knee, and that opens up that muscle or lengthens it to access it. And then all I'm simply gonna do with hand support here is I'm gonna roll through the glute. And seek and destroy, same thing as the lat. And then we can rotate the body a bit so I can go this way and get more of the inside of the hip or glute to near the tailbone. And I can rotate this way here to get more of the outside of the hip there. And same thing, you'll feel some certain areas that can be a little knotty by nature. And then if it's too much, you can just sit there and hold. If you want to add a little extra, push your knee down to add more stretch in there. I'll show you from the back side here. I'm gonna do my left leg. So left glute on foam roller, cross left ankle over right knee, left hand support. I'm rolling through and you can see how I'm just maneuvering my body around and rolling to find those spots. Seek and destroy. And say, 90-second holds, or take no more than say 90 seconds of rolling through it. And you put that whole thing together a few times. It might take you, more than 5 minutes, but once you get that routine going, less than 5 minutes, do it at least once every day, maybe twice a day, just like maybe right after you brush and floss your teeth. You can do your postural hygiene after your dental hygiene. That would be a great routine to make sure that your your postural tension doesn't lead to structural adaptation, so you can improve your posture instantly and keep it that way by using this routine. Don't let yourself get that dreaded old lady or buffalo hump. Hey, if you like this video and this content and style, please consider watching one of these videos here or here. We got our 5-minute daily mobility routines. I got the desk posture one here. It'd be great for you if you're watching this. And then the one for mid-back mobility. Great compliments to what we're doing here.